Welcome back. It is Tuesday, January 27, 2026. And, I was looking at the calendar this morning, and I had this strange thought. We're always talking about the future of Tech 2030, the singularity.
Right, these big abstract ideas.
Exactly. But we almost never just stop and look at the sort of messy reality of right now. And today's sources, I feel like the vibe isn't just excitement. It feels more like tension.
Tension is the perfect word. It
Yeah.
really feels like we're at a pivot point where the rubber is finally hitting the road.
Yeah.
We're not looking at white papers or, concept videos today. We're looking at actual hardware being unboxed tomorrow and business models that are changing how we even pay for the internet.
And we're pulling all of this from the archives of TechWorld Bangladesh, which gives us this really fascinating cross-section.
Good talk.
It's this mix of hyper-local events and just massive global shifts. And trying to piece them together feels a bit like solving a puzzle where the pieces are changing shape while you're holding them.
Well, that's the mission for this deep dive, isn't it? To bridge that gap.
Yeah.
Because on one side of the table, you have the tangible world. A massive physical expo starting tomorrow, actual chips you can hold. And on the other, you have these invisible crises. Teachers trying to outsmart an algorithm, social media giants wondering if the ad model is dead.
So if you're listening to this maybe on your commute or while you're making coffee, I really want you to think about the tools you use every single day.
Yeah.
Because these headlines, they aren't just industry gossip. They are the structural beams of the 2026 internet being moved around while we're all still living inside the house.
And the renovation really starts locally. We have to talk about tomorrow, January 28th.
Right, the Digital Device and Innovation Expo 2026. The headline is pretty loud about this, kicks off tomorrow, and the sources are calling it the country's largest information technology exhibition.
And that phrasing matters. Largest.
It does.
It signals that even with everything moving to the cloud, to the metaverse, whatever we're calling it this week, people still need to gather in a physical space.
And the location is specific too. They've locked in the Bangladesh-China Friendship Center in the capital. That's a massive venue.
It is, and I don't think we should just gloss over the symbolism of that venue in 2026.
Oh, good point.
We're talking about a digital device expo, hardware, supply chains, the choice of the Friendship Center. It kind of underscores where a lot of that hardware backbone still comes from.
It's a nod to the geopolitical reality of tech.
Absolutely. You just don't book a venue that size unless you have some serious logistical muscle behind the event.
Okay, but I have to play devil's advocate for a second. We're in 2026. I can virtually tour a factory from my living room. I can watch a keynote in 8K. Why does an event like this still matter?
Right.
Is it just a trade show for moving boxes, or is there something actually innovative happening there?
That's the paradox, isn't it? You'd think these things would be extinct by now. But look at the title again. Innovation Expo. Innovation, especially with hardware, is so tactile. You can't understand the build quality of a new drone or the latency of a new touch interface through a video stream.
So it's a reality check?
Precisely. The internet allows for a lot of, let's call it vaporware.
Yeah.
Beautiful renders, perfect simulations. When you walk the floor at that Friendship Center tomorrow, you're seeing what actually works. You see the prototype that crashes. You see the robot stumble. It grounds the whole industry.
That's a great point. It reminds us all this code has to run on, metal and plastic.
Exactly.
There is something undeniable about seeing the blinking lights in person. It's the engine room.
Yeah.
But speaking of engine rooms, let's pivot.
To the global side.
Yeah, because while people are walking that expo floor, Microsoft is doing some heavy renovation on its own infrastructure.
This is probably the most significant piece of news in the stack, even if it's less flashy than an expo.
Yeah.
The source talks about Microsoft creating a new equation for AI.
New equation. It sounds like marketing, but let's break down what they actually did. They unveiled a new version of their own AI chip and a suite of software tools to go with it.
Right. And to get why this matters so much, you have to look at the last few years. For a long time, the big AI players, Microsoft included, they were basically beholden to third-party chip makers.
So if you wanted to train a model, you got in line to buy GPUs from the usual suspects.
Exactly. Which means your costs are controlled by someone else. Your speed is limited by whatever they decide to sell you. It's a huge vulnerability.
So by releasing their own chip, this is a declaration of independence.
Independence, yeah, but it's even more than that. It's about the cost of compute.
Okay, break that down for the listener. Why should they care about Microsoft's electricity bill?
Because in 2026, The bottleneck for AI isn't some kind of magic. It's physics and economics.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time you ask an AI to summarize an email or generate a picture, it burns energy. If Microsoft is using generic chips, that cost is high. If they design the silicon specifically for their own models, they can drive that cost way down and the speed way up.
Okay, so it's like the difference between buying a suit off the rack versus getting one custom tailored.
That's a good analogy.
The tailored one just fits better, moves faster.
It's a good analogy, but let's take it a step further. It's like buying the suit, but you also own the textile mill and the sewing machines.
Ah.
That's where the software tools part comes in. The source says they release powerful software right alongside the chip.
So this is the vertical integration play.
It is the Apple playbook just applied to the cloud.
Yeah.
By owning the chip, the hardware, and the optimization tools, the software, they create this closed loop. They can squeeze performance out of that system that a competitor just can't match.
Because the competitor is running their software on generic hardware.
Precisely. So, for the person listening who uses Microsoft Copilot or whatever it's called this week, this is why the response time might suddenly get, 200 milliseconds faster.
Or why the subscription price might not skyrocket.
Ideally, yes. It's the invisible infrastructure. While everyone at the Expo is looking at gadgets, Microsoft is rewiring the basement of the internet to make sure they own the foundation.
But this is where the story gets, darker.
Mm-hmm.
We have the shiny new hardware at the Expo. We have these super optimized chips from Microsoft making AI faster and cheaper. And then we have the people who have to deal with the fallout.
The educators.
Yeah, this transition in the source material is jarring. We go from, look at this powerful new chip, to a story about teachers just desperately trying to figure out if their students are writing their own essays anymore.
It's a direct cause and effect relationship, isn't it?
It is.
The better Microsoft and the others get at building these models, the harder the job becomes for the teacher. The source says identifying human versus AI text has become very important.
Very important feels like a huge understatement. It sounds like a crisis. The source explicitly mentions ChatGPT and other tools. It paints this picture of the classroom as a crime scene, and the teacher is the detective.
And it's a detective story where the culprit changes their fingerprints every single day.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Hmm?
The source focuses on verification. Just
Yeah.
think about that word. Education used to be about creation. Write this paper, solve this problem. Now, a huge chunk of a teacher's energy is spent on verification.
On, did you actually do this?
Exactly.
It's the cat and mouse game. But isn't it a losing battle? If Microsoft's new chips are working, the AI just gets more and more human-like. The little tells start to disappear.
That is the uncomfortable truth. We're asking teachers to police a technology that is designed, specifically to paths as human.
And the detectors are always 6 months behind the generators.
Always.
So what happens to the idea of homework?
It forces a complete rethink. I mean, if the output, the essay, can be forged perfectly,
Yeah.
then you can't grade the output anymore. You have to grade the process.
Like oral exams.
Maybe oral exams, maybe writing with a pen and paper in a locked room, I don't know.
It's just so ironic, isn't it? The height of 2026 tech, these incredible AI chips, might force schools to go back to 1950s technology just to make sure learning is happening.
It's a massive friction point. We have this unlimited intelligence on tap, but we haven't figured out how to integrate it into human development without just short-circuiting the whole learning process.
And the teachers are the ones stuck right in the middle.
Right. Try to hold the line between using the tool and outsourcing your brain.
And while teachers are struggling with verification, it turns out they're not the only ones. This theme of, is it real, just bleeds right into our final story.
Meta news.
Yeah, and this one hits you right in the wallet. The source, citing a TechCrunch report, says Meta is testing new subscription models for Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp.
This is such a huge shift. For 2 decades, the deal was simple. You give us your data, we show you ads, and the app is free.
Free and always will be. That was the mantra.
Yeah, that was the line.
And now, all of a sudden, we're seeing potential paywalls on the apps we use to talk to our families. Why now? Is the ad market crashing?
It's complicated, but connected back to what we just discussed.
AI.
AI. The internet is getting flooded with AI-generated content, with bots, with noise. The effectiveness of an ad goes way down when you're not even sure if a human is looking at it.
So advertisers are getting spooked?
Partly,
Mm-hmm.
but also the users are just exhausted. And this is where the subscription benefits come in. These subscriptions, they usually offer things like verification, a blue check mark, better visibility.
So wait, are you saying that because AI has made it so easy to fake being a person, being a verified person is now a premium feature you have to pay for?
That is exactly where the market is going. Think about WhatsApp. The source mentions it specifically.
Yeah.
That's a utility for billions of people. If you start charging for that or for premium features inside it, you are signaling that the era of the open, free internet is closing down.
It feels like we're moving into a gated community model of the internet.
That's a perfect way to put it. Outside the gate, it's the Wild West bots, AI, spam, total chaos.
Right.
Inside the gate, where you pay your monthly fee to Meta, it's clean, it's verified, it's safe.
That is kind of depressing, actually. It means privacy and authenticity are now products you have to buy.
It is the monetization of trust. When trust becomes scarce because of deepfakes, because of AI text, a company like Meta realizes they can charge you to restore it.
Wow. Okay, let's try to pull all this together. Because when you lay these stories out side by side, a really clear picture starts to emerge.
It's a cycle, isn't it?
It really is. We started with the Expo, that's the physical stuff. Look what we can build, it's optimistic, it's loud.
Then you move to Microsoft. They take that hardware idea and they apply it to the AI infrastructure. They build the new equation to make synthetic intelligence faster and cheaper.
Which immediately creates the crisis in the classroom. The tech's too good. We lose the ability to tell what's human and what's a machine. Verification breaks.
And finally, because verification is broken, platforms like Meta step in and say, hey, we can fix this for a price.
Right.
The chaos that was caused by the innovation becomes the selling point for the subscription.
It's like they're selling us the antidote to a poison they helped invent.
Or at least selling us a shelter from the storm they helped create. 2026 isn't about the shiny new gadget anymore. It's about navigating a world where the digital influences are just overwhelming our human capacity to filter them.
Which leads us to a final thought. We always try to leave the listener with something to chew on, and today, I think we have a big one.
I think so. We've talked about detection, verification, and payment. So here's the question I want to leave you with.
Yep.
If AI is becoming almost impossible to detect, if it's blurring reality completely and social platforms are pivoting to paid subscriptions to prove who's real, are we heading toward a future where authentic human interaction is a luxury good?
A luxury good. Meaning, if you can't afford the subscription, you're just stuck interacting with the bots.
Exactly. The wealthy get the human internet verified, authentic, safe. Everyone else gets the synthetic internet, algorithmic, automated, and free. Authenticity might become the ultimate status symbol.
There is a terrifying thought to end on. It completely redefines the digital divide. It's not about who has access to the internet, it's about who has access to humans on the internet.
That's the reality we're building in 2026.
Well, on that heavy note, I think we'll wrap it up. Whether you're heading to the Bangladesh-China Friendship Center tomorrow to touch some real hardware, or you're just staring at that subscription prompt on your phone, stay curious.
And pay attention to who or what you're talking to.
Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll see you next time.